Welcome to another brand new episode of Crash Chords Autographs. Before we get into this week's episode, I, of course, want to thank, as I always do, my patrons Rob, Frankie, Emily, Greg, and Case. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast through Patreon. You, too, can get a shout-out at the top of the show by going to patreon.com/Stormageddon. We have a variety of tiers, even less than $5 for $3 and $1, where you don't get a shout-out here, but you still get my undying love and affection. Anyway, enough about plugging my stuff. Let's talk about upcoming changes to the podcast. If you listened to the last episode, you heard that Crash Chords Autographs will be leaving Crash Chords. It will be joining the Certain POV podcast family, along with all of my other podcasts that are currently there. I'm very excited to change things up a little bit. Crash Chords, the website, isn't going anywhere as of now. This change will probably happen towards the end of January, but a lot of that is still up in the air. When it goes to the new network, it will, of course, change to Certain POV Autographs. Just to, keep consistency with the website it's on. The show itself is not going to change, just the title. You shouldn't even see an interruption in your feed. However, if you do, you let me know. But again, this change isn't coming till the end of the month, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But we're going to work really hard to make sure that that transition goes absolutely smoothly, so you don't have to worry about missing a single episode. But I wanted to make sure I mentioned that up top, just in case. Now, on to my guests, the incredible Nathan Brandt and Cam Konek. I love these humans so much. They are the masterminds behind Some Good Shows. A variety of podcasts are on that network, including their flagship show, the New Entertainment System podcast, which I was previously a guest on. We talk about that show. We talk about the other shows on the network. We talk about their ambitions, decisions, and how they feel about podcasting as a medium and what they want from it, as well as what they want to give back to it. It's a really great, hilarious, and fun conversation. I've become such close friends with these humans over the last year or two, and I'm really excited to share this conversation with you. So without further ado, here is my incredible chat with Nathan Brandt and Cam Konek. Because I cue the guest to say a thing at the end, that makes it very easy to line everything up.
Totally. Yeah, hell yeah.
I just go to the end of the episode, line that up, and the rest usually falls into place.
Hell yeah.
Which is like my favorite thing. The tricks you learn as an audio editor.
Smart, yeah.
We do an awkward clap thing.
Yeah, I do that for some of my shows. Some of my shows have a countdown to starting the recording. Some have a clap. Like, because I don't edit, thank God, all of the shows that I host.
Yeah.
I would want to kill myself.
It's the more time consuming part of it.
Nate does. Thanks,
I
Nate.
love editing. Like somehow. Did you guys like that? I wore my face zit to this recording.
I did.
Oh hell yeah,
It
dude!
looks great. It looks lovely.
Like,
I'm into it.
I don't get zits plural. Like when I get stressed, I get like zit, and it's fucking Mount Vesuvius, dude. It fucking blows.
Oh no!
It's like there's a tennis ball.
Yeah, usually I get them in my facial hair, which is the worst because then you're not sure if it's an ingrown hair.
I got them like right here or like in my nose too, which sucks.
Welcome to Pimple Talk. If you're just tuning in,
fucking worse.
Welcome to Pimp Juice. Then.
God, fuck that.
Oh man.
Oh fuck.
When in doubt, if it could be worse, Nate will make it worse.
Oh yeah. That's me.
We play the fucking worst game of comedy chicken on every single show we do.
Yeah, it's true. For those tuning in, if you haven't figured out by now, I'm talking with the incredible Cam Konek and Nathan Brandt.
Oh, we're going.
We're going. We started recording. That's it.
Cool.
It's, the pimple stuff might get cut out, and then no one will know what I'm
wish
talking
my pimple
about.
shit would get cut out. Fuck. All right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sorry, is I can cuss on this or no?
You can cuss, yes.
Oh, thank God. Okay, cool.
Because the times.
I know better
the times.
Than that. They are changing. I'm really excited to have you both on. Obviously, it is no secret to you that I love the stuff that y'all are putting out.
Thank you.
I'm a fan of all of your shows, even the nightmarish ones that give me nightmares.
You and me both, bud.
Yeah, I know. It's your constant curse to, that you're slaves to these podcasts. You have to make them.
Yeah.
It's just your curse for life. But no, I'm really excited to have you both on the show because I've gotten to know you over the last couple of years, and you've gone from solo podcast to network. And I, as someone who several shows have joined a network, but I've never started one from nothing myself, I'm curious about that process. But I want to start by actually going way back in the Wayback Machine to the start of the NES Pod, the New Entertainment System podcast, which I've been a guest on. I would love for you to talk about how that idea came together. Maybe give the elevator pitch of the show, just in case people haven't listened, and then like how that idea started, because to me it seems so brilliant and unique, and I don't know how you got there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really fun also to like start that kind of story at the fact that like Nate and I have only known each other since like March 2019.
Yeah. Our friendship is 6 months older than the than the podcast is.
Totally. Yeah. Like we were both at a bar in Kansas City for, I think it was a kind of funny community meetup thing. And like, we were just both there, and Nate, like, we were both very drunk, and like Nate was like, "Hey, what's up? How's it going? I've got all these tokens to this arcade. Do you live here?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I do." And then I just took the tokens, and then like I left and went with other friends that night. And then like the next night we bumped into each other again at another bar, and this dude randomly ran up to us and was like, "Hey, do a backflip." And we're like, "Fucking no." And then he just walked off, and then I didn't hang out with you again for the rest of the night.
Yep. That was sort of the prelude to our podcasting, is just somebody saying, "Do a podcast," but now do a backflip, and now I'm like, all right, and that's a podcast.
All right, so you want 5 backflips?
Yeah. Yeah, no, we met through this kind of funny fan meetup thing, and then just sort of, as people do, we followed each other on Twitter. I was streaming at the time, and Cam was showing up in chat talking about stuff, and when you're in high school, people are like, "Oh, we need to start a band," but after you're graduated college, people are like, "Oh, we should start a podcast." So I had been looking for something to do, and Cam was sort of on the outer edge of a thing that he was doing at the time, and so we had the term I usually use is creatively pregnant. We like wanted to do a thing, but like had no real vibes on it. I guess we should give the elevator pitch for the show before we say anything about it. It's called the New Entertainment System Podcast. Every week we have a bot that is just an Excel spreadsheet that randomizes subjects, styles, and twists, and pops out random game prompts that we then quote unquote design with a guest. So the examples I usually give are like open world Marvel dating sim, or like gritty Cooking Mama reboot, or something like that. And so that ends up being
like one of our first episodes was about like a Kingdom Hearts Witcher game for the Game Boy Advance or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was our actual first one.
Yeah.
As for like how the show came together or whatever, I literally don't remember.
So I do.
Okay, cool.
Good. I'm glad one of you does. Yeah. That makes for a better conversation.
Yeah. So I was doing another show at the time, part of like another network that I've like since, moved on from. And I was just like hanging out in Nate's chat. We were just like bullshitting, just shooting the shit about video games and random stuff. We realized that we had maybe an uncomfortable amount in common. Because we both were just like, what the fuck? We have like, we think the same. This is not good. Nobody should think like this. And then I had you on for one of my shows.
Oh yeah.
And that went pretty well. And then
could have gone better.
We're just like, it was fine. This
fine.
Nate dude fucking sucks. No, it went pretty well. And then so after that, like we just kept talking about, hey, let's fucking do something just like through your streams. And then eventually, like, I think the idea of coming up with games was more your idea. I think I remember the idea of like, okay, but if we had this like fucking sick ass robot that did it, and then it was like the weird fucking like Tenacious D, like the stars aligned, like the fucking Tanakh and ESD ass tattoos touched each other in that moment.
You would be surprised at how much we reference that tattoo in our the Tenacious D
all the
tattoo
time.
in
all
our
the
daily
time.
lives.
Yeah. All the time. And so like, yeah, we like had the idea, Nate galaxy brained the robot together in like a fucking evening.
I like
Shout out to hyperfixation.
Yeah, no.
That was before you knew you had ADHD also.
yeah, and you know, in retrospect, yeah, no shit. Like but yeah, no, I always like to say that like logistical nightmares are like my specialty. And so if there's something that seems really hard to do, but I can do it, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. Let's do this really complex, complicated thing because it would be entertaining for me to do. I was like, if this show happens or not, whatever, I'm just going to learn how to like program a thing in Excel.
Yeah. Like, I fucking love spreadsheets, and you were operating at like fucking 12 levels above where I am. I'm like, Jesus, okay, but God.
You should see the like actual formula that I have for the actual
It's
spreadsheet.
a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we just like tested around. We found out that, oh, this thing's really fun just as a fucking toy.
Yeah.
And so then we like workshopped over the course of like an afternoon, like a general flow of the show. Got together, we recorded I think 2 episodes for our first episode, or for our first like recording day. We were both pretty like, we don't know if this is anything, and then like halfway through the first game we're like, this is actually everything.
Yep.
So then we just kept doing it. We originally weren't gonna have guests on the show, which is wild to think about now.
Yeah.
But the moment we booked our first guest and got them on the show, we're like, okay, we're only doing guests now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's our first 4 episodes didn't have guests. Or no, 5, like 4 or 5, whatever.
4 or 5, yeah.
We launched with 3 straight out the gate, and did 2 after that with no guests, and then the rest was all with guests. And like it's been really cool to get people on from like outside of the gaming, you know, sphere, or outside of you know, even, you know, the content creation field. Like we just get like, you know, our friend Darby on the show, and she's fucking hilarious.
right.
And like that's all. Or like people that stream occasionally or whatever, or, you know, it doesn't have to be like, oh, everybody needs to be the Michael Jordan of video games if they're gonna if they're gonna be on this show. It's just like, nah, we just do it for fun. And I think a lot of people enjoy doing it because it's talking about video games, but it's not like, so what do you think about the sales of the PS5 and in relation to, it's like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. We wanted to do something like evergreen, and we wanted to do something that I don't know, we're not pretending that we're like industry analysts, or like, we're not like
the appeal of the show, I feel like, comes from the fact that like we don't know what the fuck we're talking about most of the time. Like this show just feels like a very weird practical application for the fact that Nate and I know way too much about stupid obscure video game facts, and like that is really cool and awesome if we bring that, or like sometimes we have guests who like have that same kind of background, which is great. But also like some of our favorite episodes are people who don't have podcasts or don't play a whole lot of video games. They maybe just play like one video game, or they just like occasionally do, and they somehow like have some of the better ideas because they're just like, let's just fuck around and just make something. And like that's just kind of what we're all about. Like it's fucking rad how many people we've had on that for their first podcast experience.
Yeah, and to that point, I like prefer it that way.
Yeah, totally.
Because they don't have.
It feels way more natural. There's no like you breaking habits and just trying to like fit them with our stuff. It's just like, hey, you want to talk about Sonic's dick?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's go.
It's a thing of. And we've never had like a guest be it this way, but it's like nobody has to like in that situation, nobody has to like be in a like on, you know, no, you don't have to be on.
Yeah.
All I have to do is read the script legibly for the intro, the middle, and the outro, and that's it. Otherwise it's we're literally just hanging out.
Totally.
And that's
we're
what I
just
like
making
about it.
friends.
Yeah,
honestly, is what the show is. It's just a weird roundabout way for us to make friends.
I mean, like, I can speak to only my experience being on, but when I was a guest, like, what I loved about it was I was nervous because even though I have a bajillion podcasts, I don't know about you guys, but I don't ever try and intentionally be funny. I mean, I guess I'm funny sometimes, but like the thought of like improving and being funny and like being wacky is a thing I'm capable of, but I like the pressure of doing it for someone else's show was terrifying to me. But what I love about being a guest on that show, even as an experienced podcaster and being afraid to improv, is that you both facilitate the conversation so well. It's so seamless. When Cam or Nate, you ask, like, well, what do you think would this be? Or what should the title be? Like, you just throw to the guest and ask a question. And they rarely struggle because you can say whatever, you know, and it just builds for such a comfortable atmosphere. And I would say I've laughed every episode. Some episodes are funnier than others, but there's always some kind of nonsense that comes up. Yeah. Like, I'll never forget mine, the ARG Monopoly Pokemon Go game. And then the second game, which was a Plants vs. Zombies Witcher Clockwork.
Which I think is like one of our most viewed or our most listened to.
That shit ruled
too.
Really?
If you can't tell, I come from a YouTube background, and I struggle to say listens instead of views.
Yeah, that's okay.
But like I love that the format allows for people to just kind of dive in, and even if you don't know a lot about a game, you know enough to have a conversation about it. Like even one of the more recent episodes with Pilnock, like Mass Effect comes up, and both of you know of Mass Effect, have played some Mass Effect to some degree or another, but neither of you are diehard fans of Mass Effect, and Pilnock also hasn't played through the trilogy yet, but you still had a great conversation about fucking Garrus, and
that's all.
That's what Mass Effect is. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's fun that honestly some of the most fun episodes I have, at least me personally, are ones where I don't know a whole lot of shit about the thing that we're talking about, and we're starting to get into more of that territory because at this point, like a lot of things that we are already familiar with and enjoy, or just at least are aware of, are already quote in the robot, and now we're getting like, as people are like, hey, put this in here, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'm sure gonna make something up about it, and that's honestly a blast. Like and that's I think that also speaks to how Nate and I also just view like fan culture and a lot of that stuff. Like we don't like, we have appreciation for a lot of things, but we don't necessarily think of it as like sacred and untouchable. Like video games are stupid and supposed to be fun, and that's just the angle we're trying to approach it at.
Yeah, the comedy for me a lot of the times, like there's no real pressure for any of us to be like funny or whatever, because as we always tell our guests, it's like, you know, we mark this as a comedy podcast, but if we end up starting to talk about like, oh, you know, there's a hole in game design where this thing that we thought of, it does not exist, and it's just cool to talk about, then that's what the show is. It doesn't we're just talking for 15 minutes about genre and like form of games, and then that's it. So there isn't like, you know, oh my god, if you're not funny, this episode is gonna bomb, and like I don't give a shit. By the way, your episode is our 5th most listened to episode. I just looked at it. Plants vs. Zombies: The Seeds of Chaos.
Yes.
But yeah, no, so it's like, let's see. I don't know. It's just the comedy for me comes from a place of like, can you believe that video games are really like this?
Yeah.
And how close this dumb idea that we came up with, like it's not even like a far-flung alternate universe where it does exist. Like
video games are fucking stupid. And that's what I love about them. You know, like there has been stuff that we have made that makes more sense than games that actually exist. There is a game with Cloud Strife and fucking Donald Duck in it. Like,
that is true.
Come on.
There are a couple games with
multiple of them.
A few with both those characters in it.
But and so it's just fun to like literally just shoot the shit in a vaguely structured format for and we keep it short. We keep episodes targeted to like half an hour because for at least the kind of stuff that we make, that's the ideal. Like, you know, you get in, you get out. There's no like long, we're not talking about my pimples in the beginning of the episode. Like it's not what we need for that show.
For sure. No, and I love that. And like this show, I usually try and keep to about an hour. I feel like a conversation or an interview. like it takes at least 15 minutes for most normal, not crazy people to get to know each other and like collaborate and get to the good stuff. The benefit of having guests that I know is like we just hit the ground running, and it's usually nonsense all the way through, which is
and
my
boy did I hit the ground.
All pimple all the time. Let's go, baby.
We're pimple
Look,
popping
we've
off.
already had callbacks. Like we've already had callbacks in this episode. It's a success as far as I'm concerned.
Hell yeah, that's comedy, baby.
Just saying a thing twice.
Hell yeah.
I do want to talk about some good shows though, because what I love about your podcast network is I've not seen a podcast network start this way. I'm sure others have, but as someone, like I said, who has shows that were asked to join a network, I didn't make one myself. You created this network out of, you had the one show I'm assuming wanted to make at least another show, and we're like, hey, instead of just making this other show and then being in limbo, let's make a network. And so I guess to start, where did the name Some Good Shows come from, and what was the inspiration to make a network? Were there more than just one other show in the works when this idea came to be?
I know that we picked Some Good Shows because we found out that Twitter handle was available, and we're like, no shit, really?
This is how we
and then
name
we're like,
everything.
okay, that's what we're doing it. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And also like
Amazing.
it like I feel like that's us. Like we're not out here being like, I mean, we're not like, these are the greatest podcasts you will ever listen to in your
Can you
entire
imagine
life.
if I was like,
we're just like,
listen, the Burger King has a weird dick, and I'm serious about it. Like,
no, it's just like, some of these are good. And you might like them. Fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Like our mascot is an umbrella because it's on the umbrella. Our mascot is a skeleton with an umbrella that we call Umbrelleton, and it's because it's the umbrella that all of our shows are under, and skeletons are cool. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love
like, we're just like, fucking, yeah, this looks good. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then I guess it's like how it started. So we launched that August 2020, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was August of last year. And we had been kicking that around since like February as we were getting to like close to like the 1 year anniversary of us even being friends. We're just like, all right, so like we would just like sit in our like Twitter DMs and just fucking shoot dumb show ideas. And we're like, okay, but like we could do this one, and then we could do this one. And then the idea for us to actually like put it all together started like actively forming in like February. And we had just been kind of like lightly working on that off and on to getting that ready. And then we were like, okay, well, Nestpod is a year old in August. Let's just launch it with the 1 year anniversary of that. And we decided kind of relatively pretty early on that it was going to be a different podcast network in that it's just our stuff. Like it's not anything that we're not like asking other shows to join the network, because like, that's just a lot of responsibility that
Exactly what I was going to say. I don't want that response. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to be anybody's boss. I don't want to hound anybody about anything.
I don't want to like harass people for like, hey, you need to get your episode up. You're about to miss your upload. Like, I don't fucking want to do any of that shit. Like, Nate and I will just be like, hey, are you going to do this thing tomorrow? Be like, I can't, man. I'm too tired. And we're like, all right, cool. Fucking whatever. It's fine. Like, I miss uploading promo shit all the time. Like, because my like I'm too tired by the time I get them, and then I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, oh fuck, work is busy, I'll just retweet it. And we're like, all right, cool, whatever.
And my
like,
shit wouldn't go up if I didn't literally just complete it on the computer right here in front of me.
right, yeah. So we both just work well together, and like the closest thing we have to like bringing in another person to do that stuff is whenever we did like Everything Ranked with Ray, and now we do like Big 3 with Jess. Like that's it's pretty much just our stuff. So it's not really like a traditional network. It's kind of more of just like a, hey, here's our portfolio that is also a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I come from a background of playing music as well. And so like all of that stuff of like, you know, playing shows and, you know, booking people for stuff, like it's super built into my brain. And so there's a lot of stuff that like the network exists because there's a lot of stuff that we don't want to do. Like we don't want to, and the caveat here is unless like one of us loses our job or something like that, like we don't ever want to do ads. Like we said, we don't want to like manage other people. Neither of us want to be like the boss of anybody. We just want to do the thing we want to do and upload it and put it out and then move on to the next thing with as minimal interference or even input from anybody but us. As you know, constructive is one thing, but you know what I'm saying.
Totally.
And so it's just it's more of a thing of just like, hey, this is almost half so that nobody comes at us and wants us on their network.
Right. Yeah.
This is so that we have like an in stone like situation of like some good shows is Cam and Nate doing something and that's what you can expect.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I came from like my last podcast project that I did was like on a podcast network, and I enjoyed like doing the podcast, and like I have like zero ill will at all towards like the people I was working with or anything like that, but just like not being in full control of my stuff, or not having like not me being not the only person, because I had a co-host, but like being the person who, you know, is able to see the big picture and have access to everything. That was something that was very important to me, and Nate thankfully agreed.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to fight on that one.
There's very little that we even slightly differ on in terms of like how things are gonna go, and when we do have like when we do differ on something, it's usually in terms of like, well, I think it would be better if we did this, or you know, it's never like again, like, oh, I hate the way you talk about Burger King's dick. Oh my God, you fucking asshole. Creative differences.
Right. Like, we understand the stuff we do is stupid.
Yeah. So neither of
like,
us get our fucking,
kind of our brand. Yeah.
Neither of us get our fucking undies in a twist about any of it, because like I enjoy doing like just the work of editing stuff and doing content stuff, and we both enjoy just bullshitting about stuff. And so it's really like the hardest thing is just like finding the time to do all the shows, like physically finding the time for it. But we haven't ever missed an upload as of yet. Knock on whatever you want to knock on, but like I don't plan on missing uploads. But again,
nobody does, to be fair.
Right. But if it does happen, like I also don't super care. It's just kind of like a minor goal in my own brain, which is kind of what the whole like network thing is. It's just like, I don't know, it's not really that serious. It's just a thing we want to do.
The moment we stop wanting to do this, then we're just not going to do it anymore.
Right.
Is pretty much where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that makes sense. And I think that's the thing about, like, as someone who's been an indie podcaster for a while, that's my favorite thing about the shows that I do, that even though I'm on certain POV, like, it's community run. Right. There is no board of directors. Right. Like, and then for this show, which I announced in my year wrap up, is going to be moving to certain POV because Crash Chords as a website is not shuttering. It's always going to exist, but like the main show, the music review show, has been on indefinite hiatus. I'll never say canceled for so long that this is the only thing on the site. And while I love crashcourse.com, it was my first portfolio podcast network thing. It makes sense for this show to be where the other shows are. And eventually within the next few months, because it's a pain in the ass to migrate a show that's been around for a while, it'll move there and it'll make sense. But having that kind of synergy for a thing that you're making makes sense. And like, I have one word that just describes all of the stuff that you're making that I've listened to, which is chaos. Lives
that tracks.
in chaos.
Organized chaos is absolutely what I would describe like my own personal brand as, and then also my content brand as well.
Yeah, I think the like very short kind of pitch for our style that we were giving to people was high effort, low intelligence.
Yes. Yeah.
Which tracks.
Yeah. We joke about our shows being stupid or whatever, but there is like a lot of thought and work that goes into it.
Oh,
like,
yeah, totally.
We do research, and like I write scripts for Hamburg Lore and stuff like that. And you know, booking is hard.
It is,
Oh, hell yeah.
I get that. It's hard in the sense of scheduling, not because what I'm going to lead into is like we want to I think we have a hard cap on 2 straight white guys a year for our guests on any show.
Legit.
And so that. I don't want to insinuate that booking not white people is hard, but like we're booking for Black History Month and then Women's History Month and then Pacific Islanders and Asian and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. And so I'm like, okay, so they're gonna record here and then that's gonna go up here. So it just takes like, it takes a lot of Google Calendar looking at to get correct. And not to talk about it too much, but we are going to change the name of the New Entertainment System podcast, and we're going to do some other programming things. So it's like, okay, because we're super far ahead, when do we have to stop recording with this script and do this next script? And
Our
then
Google Calendar looks like a fucking Jackson Pollock right now.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, and that's when I don't accidentally mess it up somehow and
Yeah,
have to undo all of it. Yeah. But yeah, no, like high effort is correct, and low intelligence is also correct, because for all of the hours of editing and writing we put into stuff, again, we sit down and talk about the Burger King's dick. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny let's talk about that.
Let's talk about the Burger King's dick.
Yes, let's. Somebody's finally bringing up the important question.
These chords are crashing.
I love Hamburger Lore because, was one of the first seasonal podcasts that you launched, which is now a mainstay podcast, backed by popular demand under the regularly scheduled banner now for season 2. What I love about it is it's almost like NES Pod in the sense that it's you doing 2 parts. Mm-hmm. Each of you brings something, just like each of you picks a game or makes a game. But that's where the similarities end.
100%.
And then it's mostly a raving, ridiculous journey about food mascots, finding out information that I didn't need to know, that I didn't want to know.
Nobody wants to know.
Yeah.
And every episode, Nate will say something, don't Google that. And my brain goes, Google that. And then I Google it, and then I immediately regret it.
Yeah, it's an audio-only program. The moment Nate says that, I immediately Google it, and you can just see my face just recoiling in fear.
This
on
is
the video call.
Yeah, Hamburger Lore is the show that makes me kind of wish we did a video product for it, because every time, like, we get a guest on and we're at, I think, 9 or 10 uploads, 9 uploads on Hamburger Lore. And so, like, we're still booking guests that have not, like, they don't know the show. They know us through our other show, or they just know us in general. And so we get them on the show, and like the fucking magic trick that works for me every time is Cam's reports are more like casual and more like, here's a list of goofy facts.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
like a show and tell that is like, there's something going on with that kid at home.
Yeah.
And then Nate busts out here with a fucking 3-act production.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
I have a fully scripted thing, and like, that's, like I said, to me, that's the magic trick for the guest reaction in particular, is because I pull up the script and read it off of there, and I don't have the video call up. And so as I'm reading it, I feel like I'm bombing because I'm not getting any reactions. And then I will go to the video call, and then like both of them are just like stunned, and
we're just sitting there just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. And so
what the fuck?
I've had to adapt my brain of like, okay, if nobody's saying anything, then I'm doing fine, because that's the rug pull moment of just like, all right, so here's the avatar for hunger, and he's a bee god or whatever.
Hamburger Lore, like, low-key might be my favorite thing that we do.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because I host it. And that show is like kind of my baby, but like all of our shows are definitely both of our babies. We both birthed them at the same time.
That's how twins work.
Yeah, exactly. I birthed the left half, and
they
had yep, and then they had butt cheek tattoos. There's the same joke. That's a callback.
There it is.
Yeah, no, I just really like Hamburger Lore. Both of us definitely are in the game space a lot, and it's really nice to have a show that's not about video games.
For sure.
Like, I love video games. They're probably like the most important thing to me, but fuck, man, sometimes I just want to talk about how the Jack in the Box CEO is absolutely a domestic terrorist, and then just like go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And the magic, I think, with that show is that we're not really like, I mean, Nate, you definitely take like a little bit of creative liberty with yours, but like how I approach it is like I don't create anything.
Yeah, you're just saying it.
I am giving you a presentation about what keeps me up at night. Like, and that show, like, Nespod is like how we have conversations, but Hamburglore is how our brains work.
True. Yeah.
I would agree to that.
And we have
it's bad.
Yeah. we have like other shows as well. We have Everything Ranked, which is like it's like almost Cam described it as competitive PowerPoint.
It's competitive friendship.
Yeah, it's competitive friendship, and that show is Cam, myself, and our friend Ray Apollo, and we basically like say, hey motherfucker, swords are the coolest thing. I'm gonna tell you why swords are the coolest thing for like 7 minutes, and then after that Cam's gonna talk about how cargo shorts are actually the coolest thing, and then Ray's gonna talk
fucking are.
And then Ray's gonna talk about how anime is actually the best thing, and then we vote on what's the best thing, and then that weirdly took a lot of effort to like get the mathematical situation for that setup, and again, like logistical nightmare. I fucking like pick me, let's do it. And again, so it's high effort, low intelligence, because at the end of the day, I did say that if Whitney Houston had a sword, she would still be here in our first episode of that podcast.
We also, I think that's where our podcast network beef with Margaret Thatcher came from.
Yes.
Margaret Thatcher, eat shit. I ain't scared of you.
Fight me in the streets, Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah. If I had a sword, you still wouldn't be here today.
The brilliance of Everything Ranked also, I think, comes from, I mean, like, I don't think anyone on this podcast would disagree that Ray Apollo is exploding charisma incarnate.
Yeah.
Ray is maybe the funniest person I've ever met in my entire life.
It is an absolute pleasure to like write something to try and make Ray laugh specifically. That is like the best shit in the world.
Like, I didn't give a shit about anything in that show, but if I got Ray to laugh, I was good for the rest of the fucking week, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
Ray is the coolest motherfucker of all time.
His reaction to my Whitney Houston like thing, I have the MP3 saved in my brain for that.
Yeah.
But like, what I love about the show also, I mean, all three of you are really funny on it, but it's this idea that you're just talking passionately about a thing you care about, and it's very apparent, or a thing that you think is really interesting. It may not even be something that you necessarily liked right off the and the like. Every time there's a new topic or new thing, like biscuits and gravy, or cargo shorts, or
keep listing mine, keep going. Okay, dinosaurs are cool, but
like, that's what was fun for me about listening to the show is like, I mean, it helps to know the three of you, and I'm very lucky to have worked with Ray on some stuff too, and he did an episode of Side Quests, and like, he's just a delight. Mm-hmm. But to hear the three of you have almost the same, like, he's a third brain in this brain trust. I feel like he is definitely on the same wavelength, and there's never an episode of Everything Ranked where one of you is not at the same level as the others. Like, you're all just a 10 the whole time.
Yeah.
And you also take it differently. Like, again, Cam is often like a documentarian. Like, here's information. Here's these things. Ray is just anime incarnate. Like, it's just, he is at you, in your face. Here's these things. You know what?
Ray, I don't think Ray had notes for that show. I don't
he
think
didn't. No.
And so, like,
he didn't, like,
it's the perfect gradient.
Whenever we were prepping that show, we were like, okay, so we're going to we need to all have, like, what our things are, so that we don't accidentally pick something, but we're not going to say which one we're picking. Little peek behind the curtain for you. But Ray didn't get us his.
No, because he didn't
Ray
have
had
it.
ours, and he's just like, okay. And then he just picked something, and it was incredible.
Yep.
Every time.
It's when he fucking just comes out with like, oh, I'm talking about smells today. It's like, Jesus, okay.
Fucking
hell. I was talking about the Wii U or whatever, so okay.
Yeah, the Wii U got fucking bodied in that episode.
Not as bodied as biscuits and gravy. But.
Shut the fuck up.
See? But as in terms of like, having a third chair, like, Ray is somebody that, we're in a group chat with him and talk to them about stuff all the time, and so it was an easy choice. And it's the same situation with Jess for the big three. which is our My Hero Academia recap and analysis, artsy pinky up like podcast. What I would describe as like our premium podcast, I guess, because it's like an hour and a half of like me like throwing my film degree at the microphone.
I'm just sitting here going like, that was sick as fuck, right?
Exactly.
You're like, yeah, it was. Let's go.
And so, you know, having Jess on that show, it's like it literally doesn't feel like we're doing content when we do that. It's just like, oh, we're just talking about these 5 episodes of this anime, and that's the only bounds on this conversation that we have.
I think that's kind of true of like all of our shows, honestly, because after we'll like get done recording, we'll like just like hop into a Discord channel, and our conversations literally just sound like the shows we already make, because we're just like, fuck it, we might as well record this. Like occasionally you'll hop in and be like, okay, well, like we're like talking about these like really cool like scenes in like we talked about Hereditary a lot after I first watched that movie, and like talking about like really cool moments in that movie and stuff, and going like super analytical and talking about how cool it was, to like, all right, no, fuck you, biscuits and gravy are better than grapes, motherfucker, to like, okay, but like, do y'all know about Charles Entertainment cheese?
That's what we're recording this weekend.
I know, I'm so excited.
Excellent.
Yeah, like literally, like I don't agree with the sentiment that if you're like having fun doing it or something, that like, we're not coming out here and saying that like what we're doing isn't work. It's just that like what we're doing is just naturally what we would already do, so it just feels a lot more genuine. And I think that's like kind of the magic of a lot of our stuff. Like, we're not really trying to force anything.
No. And
because we don't want to force anything.
No,
like
exactly.
That's exhausting.
How you shit your pants is forcing
exactly. Bad poopy time.
And so just for the network in general, it's like I want the least amount of asterisks, right? Like I want it to just be like, it's shows that Cam and Nate do.
Yeah.
The end.
Like, that's it. Great. Done.
No ads. No, I don't know, like weird bullshit or whatever. Like it's just what it is. There isn't any sort of like weird, extracurricular bullshit about it. It's just what the show. It is just some good show. This is what we wanted it to be.
I love that. And it shows, I mean, I will admit on air that I haven't listened to the My Hero show.
How fucking dare you?
How fucking dare
because
you
I
not
haven't
listen to all 4 hours of content you put out a week? What the fuck? You're already putting out 29 hours of your own shit. Fake geek girl.
Fake gamer.
I'm the fakest gamer. No. I will say this though. I will give Nate credit. Nate was a guest on Screen Snarkle a while back.
Oh, yeah.
And you and Rachel just went to town on My Hero, which I hadn't seen
felt
yet.
bad because I was like me, and I like woke up from that conversation. I was like, oh, Matt's here. Yeah, okay.
But it did inspire me to watch the first couple of episodes, which I've seen and I enjoyed. And so I will eventually get around to watching the rest and listening to that show. But what I wanted to say from that conversation, from other conversations that y'all have had on the network, like you've made me interested in stuff that I thought I had no interest in. And more importantly, you've introduced me to people that I didn't know. And then after they were on a show of yours, I was like, I want to know, I want to follow this person on Twitter. I want to figure out what their deal is. I want to, see if they want to be a guest on my thing, if they're into it. Like, because I think that the two of you just have a really great sense of people. I'm very lucky to have met you when I did. I will thank aloud Rebecca Valentine.
Shout out to
because
Reb.
I believe that Reb is the binding force that introduced us. But like,
She made me dinner earlier. It was great.
Come, yes.
Exactly.
Shout out to Reb's huevos rancheros that she made me for dinner. Shit ruled.
Oh hell yeah!
It looked delicious.
It was
I
so
saw those
good.
on Twitter.
Ranch eggs.
So good. Shout out to being next door neighbors with Reb. It fucking rules.
I met Reb for the first time in person before the world went to hell at PAX East, and it was some of the most wholesome time I had at that entire convention. She's amazing.
By the way, Reb also did say that hello, and she loves you. So, because I told her we were recording with you. So
I love her too. It's clear that y'all don't want to just have like the big get. You want to have people on the show that you want to talk to. If that person you want to talk to is a big get, like your Chloe Naylor, or folks who have a following, great. If it's not, that's fine too. And, I've done that with autographs partially because, if you don't know famous people, you can't invite famous people on your show.
Sure.
But also, this show has always been, I want to have a conversation. I want to hang out with folks. And it seems pretty genuine that on most of your shows, that's what you want to do. Like, you're still showing up to do something, but you want to have a conversation. You just want to hang out. You want to pal with somebody. And I love that. And that energy is absolutely receivable through the speakers, I guess, whatever technology we're using to listen these days.
The psychic brain waves.
Yeah.
Psychic brain
I use tin
like,
cans as my podcast service. So.
Like, sincerely, when I was living in a hotel for a month, which is words I have to say that actually happened.
And like not in a cool way either. You were
totally.
You were, like,
not like Zach and
music.
Cody.
Yeah. I was gonna say like doing cocaine at rock shows, and you're like, yeah, like Zach and Cody.
Cody.
Hey, we don't know what happened behind the scenes on that show.
I think a lot of cocaine actually.
Yeah, I mean, their mom probably did a lot of coke. Anyway, moving on.
But
Purgle.
But while I was there, like, I did a lot of walking around with a mask on, like an intelligent person. But like, in that space, like, I had to get out of our tiny hotel room. I would listen to the backlog of the show, even episodes I had heard before, because it always made me laugh. It always made me smile, because the energy of the joy of the show absolutely translates. And I don't know if anyone's told you that, but I absolutely feel it with every show I listen to. And I thank you for that. And I think that that's one of the things that makes this network special, is that not only are you throwing spaghetti at the wall and then maybe making something with that spaghetti, but you're also having fun doing it, and the fun translates. And I appreciate that as a listener.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
We both have ADHD, so we have a really hard time if we ever feel like we're wasting our time. If you have ADHD, it's really, really, really difficult to do shit you don't want to do.
1,000,000%.
So if stuff sounds genuine and sounds like we're having a good time, it's because we are. I cannot lie about having a good time. I cannot. I can't, like, the idea of me wasting my time is like the most painful thing for me. So like, whenever we book people, it's like, can I bear to talk to this person for a half hour? Yes, of course. Yes, they're going to be on the show, sort of a thing. There are people that we probably have access to that I would be like, no, I don't, like, wouldn't be a good fit for the show or whatever. Or like you said, go for the big get for the sake of the big get. It's like, I don't want to do that. We don't make any money from the shows, so like, it would be nice to have, like, the world listen to these shows, but I'm not going to put any asterisks or caveats or I'm not going to hinder our stuff, our art anyway.
Okay, all right.
I was gonna say Burger King's dick again. I don't want to I don't want to.
That's art.
Yeah,
that's art.
No, that's art. Yeah,
that is art. That is
fine.
And I will sign it if you got a pen. But we just don't want to put any weird limits or anything on what we're doing. And like, if it sounds fun, it's because we're doing it because we want to have fun. And the minute we stop having fun with it for a second, like, then that's when we start talking about, like, do we want to change stuff up or quit or do whatever with it.
Like a lot of people say, like, I'm just getting into podcasts to, like, make friends and just do fun stuff. Like, we are like, that's ultimately like some of my best friends that I have, like, some people I am already really close to, I have not met but a year and a half ago. Through the show, through, like, Nate and, like, the people around us. Like, I can't fucking do small talk. Like, small talk is not how I can, like, get to know somebody, and doing a show like this is just kind of a fun, weird, organized way of just, hey, let's hang out. Let's do this thing together. It's like kind of the same thing as, like, hey, do you want to be friends? Let's play video games together. Like, it's that exact kind of same thing. We're doing
literally
something
just playing
together.
Pretend. Yeah,
Exactly.
Like, we're literally just
totally.
playing pretend. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, we that's whatever we say that we are in it to make friends. It's pretty fucking true, because we wouldn't if that were not the case.
We would be doing a lot of different shit if we were in it for different reasons.
Totally.
And the best shit for me is you said, like, you listen to the shows and you go and check out who it is if you like them and whatever, and then you ask them to be on your show. The best shit for me is when people are friends because they have both been on your podcast, and you're just like, Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like it's also really rad, and this, I don't want it to come across as us like sucking our own dick for a second, but like I think it's really cool.
That's what this is about.
Yeah, shout out to Burger King. This is it's just really cool that we're able to, even though we have like a relatively small platform, like uplift people that people have not heard of. Honestly, sometimes ourselves included, until like a few weeks prior. We're just like, this person seems rad. We want to just like get to know them and then introduce the people that we know listen to our show to these people, so that like everybody kind of wins in the end.
Yeah. I mean, that's how Autograph started, was me interviewing all of my indie rapper friends, because I knew a lot of folks in the nerdcore community, and then it just grew from there. And like, I'm lucky enough to be friends with some folks who have a name, like, you know, Jason Ritter being on the show last year was great because he's funny and he's awesome, but also he's just someone I'm friends with. And like, it's kind of weird sometimes when like a friend will freak out, oh my God, you got Jason Ritter. I was like, yeah, but we just chilled.
Yeah, you referred to Chloe Naylor as like a big name guest. And I was like, I guess so, huh?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, cool.
She's just our goofy friend that like talks about M&Ms fucking each other on a show. Or like, you know, we just talk about like, you know, the Decepticons making burgers for each other or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so like, you know, not like she's not like a big important name, but like I don't think of it in terms of like, oh, they're Twitter following and they're you know, they're a Twitch partner and stuff like that. It's just like, this is my bud Chloe.
It's just like that's our good pal.
Yeah, Chloe has ruined me from seeing robots on the internet, because now every time I see anything funny about robots, I look at her Twitter feed first.
At least you look, because I think I get the feeling that a lot of people don't look. They just want to be the funny guy.
I always try and check.
Yeah, no. It's cool to have that kind of relationship with a couple people, where it's just like, oh yeah, like, you know, Michael Haim, he's our bud. We talked about the the Pillsbury Doughboy, or you know, like Jan, or like Brock Wilbur.
Talk about ska music, like it's great.
Or even, you know, like, you know, Ray has had like an awesome like surge in his popularity and influence this past year, and so it's just been cool to just be like, we're a part of their thing. They're not a part of our thing. Like we are, I absolutely see all of our guests bookings as like, we're a part of like we're on their ride. They're not on our ride. Like we are like happy to just like be with them on this show and like get their brand across and stuff like that. And I don't think there's been more than 5 minutes of recorded stuff that's been like awkward because we didn't know the person. Like there's been a little bit of that, but then it's been totally awesome.
Yeah.
If we were getting into podcasting for the clout and the money, then we're fucking stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's ultimately like
that's
another thing
that's
like, okay, well, you got all these big people, you should like monetize. I was like, fucking no.
Yeah, I don't want to.
We both work full time. We have health insurance. We're fine.
Yeah, you think I want to throw a quip ad on me talking again about the Burger King's dick? Nah, man. That's a discredit to them, if anything.
What if they have a quip that's shaped like the Burger King's dick?
Well, then, like, call me then. But like,
okay.
Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I appreciate that also, because as someone who's also an indie podcaster who has an audience of some indiscernible size, it's like you made a joke earlier, and I made this joke before too, that the current we should start a band is we should start a podcast. And it's funny because it's mostly true. It's one of the few things I often think when I meet someone. It's like, I wonder how
you should see our DMs about like we literally a couple days ago, because we were on a Discord call with our friend Sam and Darby, we were like, well, what if we just do a show with them? And it's like, stop, we can't, we don't have enough time in the day.
No, we don't have enough fucking time.
Exactly. I haven't heard this a lot. I heard it actually for the first time recently on Waypoint, Vice's podcast.
Shout out to Waypoint.
Austin Walker said, I love that show. Austin was like, if you want to make a podcast for 10 people, but it's something you're passionate about, make that podcast. And not a lot of people are saying that. And I think it's true. I feel like if you have an idea or a thing you want to do, or you want to talk to people, you want to engage an audience of a size, do it. Like the barrier to entry for making a podcast is so low. And I will say full force, if I can produce 8 shows and host 4, any idiot can do it.
Fucking look at me.
Literally anyone can.
Like,
but it's just, I like the community that's being fostered. And what I love about some good shows, like I said before, is your guest list and your shows show that it should be about having fun and meeting cool people and having great conversations. The other stuff is important, like being analytical about Mass Effect on my Mass Effect podcast is because I am a Mass Effect nerd and we bring on Mass Effect nerds. But I would never make someone who doesn't like Mass Effect listen to that show. What's the point? Like, make it for your audience. They will show up and have fun doing it. Because you're right. Like, the minute any of my shows become not fun, it's like, well,
then
I guess
what?
I don't want to do
what
this
the
anymore.
fuck are you doing then? You know, like why would I spend hours on something that I don't like? Like it's crazy to think about, like I cannot.
That being said, we have been like kicking around an idea of just like maybe like a 1 episode thing where I go through and just explain the entire Soul Calibur history lore to Nate, which I know is something that Nate does not give a fuck about.
But that's the show though.
Exactly. Like I think there's definitely a part of you that's just like you kind of enjoy reacting to that stupid it's basically a sword opera.
Sword opera. Yeah, it's a sword opera. Got it.
Oh no, it's no.
But we have so many ideas for shows, and we're kicking around like the best way to put them out, whether it's a feed drop or it's a brand new feed for its own thing or whatever. But like, it's all just like stuff that we want to do anyway, and it's just like, it's cool to hang out with Sam and Darby. What if we just record it for an hour a week or whatever and then put that out and then that's a show? Or, I want to put together a tabletop campaign from scratch about something and I want to do that. So we'll do that. Or whatever it's going to be, talking about movies, talking about Soul Calibur lore. We're going to do a show about like Tumblr anthropology at some point.
Yeah.
Because Cam has no idea about anything Tumblr.
I've literally never been on Tumblr, and the other 3 people grew up on Tumblr.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, I'm excited because that show is just going to be me turning on my microphone and people talking at me.
Let me tell you about DashCon, motherfucker. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And so it's just like, little conceptual things of just like, this would be fun to do for a little while. And that's why we do the seasonal shows, is because it's like, could we do everything ranked every week? Probably. But would I want to? And would everybody else want to? Probably not. It's a lot of like energy committed to it. Like we drink while doing that show. Like, it's like, it's having that energy on a show would burn us out. Right. So it's just like, let's do a season of 6 episodes and call it good. Maybe next season will be 8 episodes. Maybe it won't. Maybe there won't be another season. Who gives a shit?
Right. Yeah.
So it's just cool to have like this stack of like fun ideas that we will get to eventually, just to be like, what, I've been thinking about, this tabletop campaign, and like maybe that's what we do next, and then we talk about it, and then we end up doing that next, or we don't, or whatever. So it's just a fun like pure creation thing of I want to do this, and then we do it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I never considered podcasting to be making something like artistic, but I was listening to, I don't know if either of you are familiar with Adam Savage. He used to be on Mythbusters and he does a ton of other stuff. He has a book called Every Tool's a Hammer, and I'm listening to the audiobook currently. And he says that makers are considered often people who physically make stuff, but it's not true. If you make something from nothing, you are a maker. You make stuff. And I love that.
I hate the word content. I hate that kind of I've always, even from when I started like making CDs in senior year of high school, and I'm 30 now, like I've always just said that I make stuff because I'm making stuff, and it's all like everything that you make is like just a part of your like acumen of like it's your brand basically, and it's just continuing, whether it's an album I put out or whether it's a podcast, or like I do paintings and shit too. It's just like, it's just stuff I make. I don't know, man. I'm bored. I have ADHD.
Totally. I feel like when I was starting podcasting, it was like you have to pick a thing and do it. And that's just not true anymore. Like, I know so many people who podcast and stream and make video
do you know
essays,
anybody that does one thing?
Not anymore.
Right.
No.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, I've had like people from like college or high school or like my hometown like hit me up since I've like started doing this, like shoot me like a message on like Instagram or Facebook or something and just be like, hey, I want to start a podcast, like can you help me? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I don't know what to do, can you like recommend something? I'm like, literally
those are
just
all
do
mine.
whatever you want. Yeah.
Same.
Like
Yeah.
I'm doing shows that I want to do because I want to do them, you know, and that's really it. Like, don't, if you are listening to this and you want to do a podcast for something, don't let like equipment or anything get in the way. Just like fucking put your phone down on a table and just record something.
Let me tell you, our first 3 episodes of our podcast, Cam had his microphone fucking backwards, dog.
I did.
So
I did.
DM me if you use a Yeti microphone. DM me a picture of your Yeti, and I'll tell you if you're using it right or not. Because a lot of people do not. Exhibit K over here. Don't let like you were saying, don't let equipment like stand
And like
in your way.
if you want to do something great, like don't let other people talk you out of it if you can.
Right.
Like I knew from a very young age that I wanted to do something like this. I just kind of was talked away from it by so many people that I just kind of put it on the back burner. And since I've started doing this, I know that I am like kind of weirdly meant to do this because I have ADHD and I haven't dropped it yet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Ultimately, like that's like a good like, okay, cool, I should be doing this thing.
You know, the honeymoon phase would be over if that was
Right.
a thing that would be happening.
Right. And there have been days that I don't want to record and I just like show up and do it anyway. But
Yeah.
like, you know, I always feel better doing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
if you want to do something, just do it. That's basically my point here. I'm rambling. Yeah.
No, but I mean, I was going to ask, and y'all, like professionals, just naturally segued into giving the advice portion of the show.
Damn, that's podcast energy,
Yeah.
baby.
But like, no, I agree 100% with both of you are saying. Like, I tell people when people are excited to listen to Autographs, because it's one of the only shows that I do with, I have guests, but I have no co-hosts. They're like, oh, I can't wait to listen. I'm going to start from the beginning. And I was like, maybe start at episode 50 because I figured out how to record and I wasn't doing it on my phone and I had a microphone. Like, you know, it's just, you figure shit out as you go along. And I'll tell people, maybe don't record something and put it out right away. But I would say record like 3 episodes. If you like what you hear, then release it. Release it, have a backlog. Like, the one thing I can say that was good about 2020 was because I couldn't go out ever, one of my most inconsistent podcasts, Fun and Games, now has the biggest backlog of any of my shows because me and my co-host literally said, let's record every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. That way we know we'll have episodes. And thank God we did because,
so
as I
early.
mentioned earlier, there was a fire and there were 3
Right.
weeks when I couldn't record and we had episodes. Like, backlogging, I think, is the most important thing you can do. But, you know, both of you are absolutely right. If you want to do something, just do it. Don't let people tell you you can't. It's the same thing with music. It's the same thing with pretty much any artistic endeavor. Like, if you think you can do it, then do it. And you'll either be able to or you won't. But don't let someone tell you you can.
I would even kind of jump off of your own point and say, like, even if you don't think it's all that great, you should still put it out there.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because I think, like, that's something I'm super guilty of.
Yeah.
Like, the fear of failing at literally everything I do is just constantly going through my fucking ADHD riddled brain. I have put up podcast episodes that I know are terrible, and I have felt like shit for a couple of days, but I'm still happy that I got the experience of, like, okay, so I know what went wrong. I know what was bad here. I, like, approached it from an analytical angle. Like, I think that even, like, just putting yourself out there regardless, I think is super important and something that, like, it's so hard. It is one of the hardest things to do, and I recognize that, but it feels good to put out something that even you don't think is your best because that's still practice to get better.
Yeah, I agree.
Being good creatively, like making good creative works or whatever, isn't something you can turn on or off. Doing it is the only thing you can turn on and off, and like you miss 100% of the podcasts you don't make.
Put that on my fucking tombstone. There you go.
So like just I don't know. I would rather have a couple things out that are pretty good than I went to broadcast school, I went to film school. Nothing is more annoying than that dude that's been working on something for like forever and they don't have anything out, but they act like they do. And they're riding off of that energy of just like, oh man, when I eventually get my shit together and make this thing, like, you know, then it'll be over for you, like kind of a situation. And it's just like, you're not doing anything though. So you're effectively doing nothing. So put out something shitty so you can figure out how to make it good. If that's something you want to do. Me personally, I like audio quality to be good. I like editing to be tight, all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't need to be everybody's thing. Like you can just record on your phone and put it out. And if you personally are happy with that, then literally who gives a shit?
Yep.
Yeah. And you're also going to be your worst critic.
Yes.
Like not everybody notices things about shows that I put out that I totally notice. Like there are people like, oh my God, I love this episode. I'm like, oh, I was not at all there. But, and they're like, oh, I love this joke that you made. I'm like, I did not think that was funny at all.
Yeah, that's the other thing with ADHD is you won't remember the jokes you make too.
Right. Yeah. So like just do it is ultimately what it comes down to. Like it'll be fine. I promise.
Yes.
Or it won't, and then it'll be fine later. Fucking, it's fine. It's whatever. Yeah. Just fucking chug a Red Bull and like yell into a microphone and then put it out, and it's fine. Or don't.
Yeah.
No, you fucking dad.
Thank you both so much for coming on the show. I sincerely am really grateful to have met both of you, become friends with both of you. And also, by the way, I just want to call back to something that Nate had said about loving knowing that they made friendships. I absolutely became friends with Ray because of both of you. And I believe it was Nate's birthday is when I first met Ray on Discord.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
At your online birthday. And we started talking. And then I messaged him on Twitter about side quests. And we became friends that way. So, like, you both have indirectly and directly built bridges for me, and I am endlessly thankful for that. I appreciate that you both have wanted to come on my shows and be a part of the stupid shit that I do, have welcomed me into the world of the stupid shit you do. I'm still going to keep pitching the Little Caesars guy. I think there's got to be an episode about him.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
There's got to be more about him.
Is he on the list? I'll look.
He's on the list. He is on the list. Do not worry.
Okay.
But thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. Before we wrap up, why don't you tell folks where you can be found on the internet, if that's a thing you would like, and where, more importantly, they can find all the nonsense you spew onto the internet.
Nate, you go first.
Okay. I am on Twitter at Victory Position and on Instagram at victory.position, I think. I don't know. Don't follow me there. It's fine. And you can find all of our stuff at somegoodshows.biz. And I must remind you that the biz does stand for business.
It does.
And that has like links to all of the stuff. Or you can follow at Some Good Shows, at Big 3 Cast, at NES Pod,
at the NES Pod.
See, yeah, don't do at NES Pod. And this will be a thing that I'll say don't Google, but really don't, because we learned the hard way that at NES Pod had porn in their pinned tweet. So maybe that's part of the reason why we are changing the name of it soon. But who knows? So that was me saying my Twitter handle.
So you can find me on Twitter at TheCamdyMan. That's TheCamdyman. I pretty much just hang out there. I'm on Twitch occasionally, not super often, because I like to stream rhythm games, and that's not great to do right now. But you can follow me there if you want, twitch.tv/CamKonek, KMKONEK. Yeah, I just do a lot of shit posts on Twitter, mostly just kind of fuck around and make weird jokes. Anything that I work on or post about, or anything I'm guesting on or anything I post about there. So just kind of hang out there.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you both so much. This was an absolute delight. Before I let you go, we have a saying on the show, which is music is life and life is good. It was born out of my music show and the idea that as long as you're making stuff, even when life is at its worst, you can be satisfied. Life can be good because you're making things, you're doing the things you want to do. So with that, extraordinary long explanation out of the way, if I get Nate to say music is life and Cam to say and life is good, we will close this show.
Music is life.
And life is good.
That's it for this episode of Crash Chords Autographs. Our theme music is by Michael Kill. Our logo was designed by Case Aiken and Joey Amons. If you like the show, please rate and review it wherever you get your podcasts. It's a great way to help us reach more listeners. Questions, comments, or guest recommendations? Email matt.storm@crashchords.com or hit us up on Twitter at crashchordsweb. Thank you so much for listening.
We did it.
I know I'm an idiot because I was like, oh, like they're gonna lead off and I'm gonna go first, and I was gonna say music is good. Fuck.
Life is life.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, talking about Superman.
Oh, cool. I could talk about Superman.
I could talk some more about Superman. We know. I'll bet a few people would want to get in on this.
I'm down.
You know it.
That sounds like fun. I'll do it.
Cool, let's do it. We can call the show Men of Steel.
And you can find it at certainpov.com.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yay.